Hello everyone, good afternoon, evening, good morning, wherever you are. Welcome to one of the first League games for the League of Dracula 2025. Today we are going to have Mistergreen playing as Dracula, while Geo attempts to hunt him down. Alright, Eddie live. Fire away. Already live. Fire away. Okay. Players waiting for confirmation that I am ready to stream their game. But in any event, here's to a good match. Here's to a Here's to a good match. Here's to a good match. Here's to a good match. Okay, so Geo is actually... You'll notice that Geo is doing something that's a little bit new in terms of Hunter setup. Apparently, one of our newcomers, R2Win, has been using this particular Hunter setup in his friendly games, and Geo has, with apparently a reasonable amount of success. So Geo has adopted the setup. So the R2Wins, this is the R2Win Hunter setup. Here. Yes, hello Scotsword. Indeed, wild. I was quite surprised when I first saw it. I played a couple friendly games with Geo earlier today, in point of fact. He, and it actually does really make you have to think as Dracula. So it's definitely very interesting. And it helps you get around like sticky item placement apart from Van Helsing. Van Helsing drawing a horse is the worst case scenario. Whereas these three can now trade tickets and items freely between them. So I get the reasoning behind it. Once they have horses up, it doesn't take them too long to get down to Spain. Same with the East, same with Italy. There's the furthest away is like Cadiz and Lisbon. With like southern Spain, and they can get to that in a maximum of with good horse rules, a maximum of 3 turns. That is true, Scotsword. It does make the first encounter more likely to mature, though, but it does make for a stronger mid-game. But that is if Dracula starts in a out-of-the-way location. Yes, there are definitely a couple weaknesses. Rail connection isn't great, but it makes Eastern and Italy start far weaker. Local rumors. Nope. Not in Manchester, Swansea, or Plymouth. Although why he would be at Plymouth, I have no idea. You think we need a name for this setup, Scotsword? Well, we kind of already have one through... It is the R2Win setup, as he was the one who brought it into our community. We have Pete's Wizard setup, Scotsword setup, and so on, so why not R2Win setup? Give credit where credit is due. But now we're just going through the usual week 1 supplying, me showing a holy circle and a good luck. Just going through the usual week 1 supply train. Trio to win. not bad, but and definitely amusing. Oh, MG either forgot to misdirect or is playing for the initial lair strategy way. That is interesting. Okay, holy bullets was discarded earlier. Okay. Holy bullets and garlic wreath. Yeah, and for those of you who watch this on YouTube after I upload it, I am also live streaming this to Twitch, which is why I'm like seem to be chatting with people because, well, I am. But yeah, I suppose while we wait, the like history of these players. Geo is Scotsword's teammate from the Garlic Farmers, and therefore has won alongside Scotsword won both team tournaments, both Immortal Invitational and Duos and Dark Calls. Mistergreen, on the other hand, in last year's league, was the person to knock Geo out at the quarterfinals, in a very tight tiebreaker match. So as a result, these two do have quite a bit of rivalry. So this will be fun to watch. I personally, since Mr. Green was my teammate, have a slight bias towards Mr. Green winning. But we'll see. That's now all the holy bullets accounted for already. Alison Parker. Good to see you again. How am I doing? I'm very excited now that the League of Dracula has begun. This is the first match that is being live streamed from neutral perspective. However, we had Snuffleupagus and record his perspective for his game versus Combat Wombat. Oh, Mia now has a horse. So I'd be lying if I claimed that this was the first game of the tournament, but it is the first game. Oh, did he? I watched Snuffleupagus' perspective. About that, which is, and as for your question, Alison, about how I am, as I said, I'm quite excited now that the league has begun. I've always loved these competitions, and last year, since you aren't a member of the Fear of Dracula community, I was a semi-finalist, so that may come as news to you. It took Scotsword there in the chat, who was there in the chat with you, who in the end won the crown as the world champion. Who knocked me out in the end. It was a good league. So, Scott Sword, this is Alison Parker. He first followed me when I was playing Hogwarts Legacy the other day. I don't know how much he knows about Shira Dracula, but perhaps you might be able to get him acquainted with what's going on here. But to summarize briefly, it's a strategy asymmetric board game. It is quite a lot to describe, as you learn much of it simply through playing it. It's one that you'll learn a lot of it more from doing it rather than listening to it. Dum-ba-dum-bum-bum. So, anyone want to try to guess where a Dracula started? Before or newspaper? Did Gio get a newspaper? Answer, yes. So, Dracula started at Bordeaux. Right here. Okay, so you're a little bit off there, Scott Sword, although there's nothing to say there's that he didn't go down into Spain after, because at a guess I would say that it's Nantes next. Potentially, oh, stake discard. Interesting. Evil presence. Nope. So he's not slipping directly into Germany, at least. Bordeaux is indeed a good lair location, yeah. As it is something of a... Especially once Dracula goes to sea, you tend to want to have a hunter sitting there ready to intercept Dracula if he's in that area. Okay, Dracula has not been to Marseille yet. I'm not sure I like Geo moving Mina alone like that, but... As if Dracula had been there, then... that could have meant a dead Mina. But what can I say? I don't know what Mina has. Perhaps she has an escape route. Who tucks behind that good luck card. Now, what are they trading, I wonder? Could be all sorts of things. Now, I wonder, do they have the other horses yet? Did Van Helsing draw one? There are lots of things that we need to... that we there are lots of questions that we can ask ourselves we that we just don't know the answers to. Okay, so what's Mistergreen going to do now? I mean, realistically, we can't really tell what he's already done until later. Oh, well, now that's interesting. Misdirecting his first encounter. That's curious. That's a curious one. Oh, one slight settings thing. Let's automatically close all dialogues. There we go. That's a setting I use only when I'm streaming. As when I'm actually playing, I want to see every last detail that I can. When I'm streaming, it's not as big a deal if I miss something. Another stake discarded. Gloming's getting must have some pretty good stuff in his hand if he's discarding stuff like that. Okay, moving Van Helsing. Alright. Okay, moving to Saragossa. Moving my train, since obviously that was a yellow 2, and therefore his horse economy is not yet ideal. Just taking the guarantee since he had the guarantee. Makes sense. It makes me wonder, what if Mistergreen is just hanging around here and is now waiting and could now, in theory, Nantes gets misdirected. What if he's just hanging around in this area waiting to surprise Van Helsing or something, taking advantage of the fact that Van Helsing starts on his own? It could be. Interesting. Okay. Scout. Okay, now that's very good for Geo. I imagine that he'll check Nantes. At least I would. Make sure that he... Well, except that the thing after Bordeaux got misdirected. So not Nantes, but rather check Le Havre and, some of these around this area. At least that's what I would do. Check at least one thing around there. Not Le Havre or Paris. Okay, so it looks as if Gio is of the same mind. So, where's the trail pickup again? We just don't know yet. If If I had to guess why these two are just sitting around, it would be because as the remaining horses are buried deep. Oh, okay, so he went from Bordeaux, he went to Santander, then Madrid, then at a guess went, like, circled back up here and is hiding at Santander now? At a guess. Can't say for sure, of course. If he has not hidden yet, then that would mean that he... Well, that would mean that he went to Granada first and circled back from there. Hard to say. So what is this first... what is this first encounter at Madrid? I wonder. Ah, hello, Determinator. What's up? As for how it's going, Terminator, it is getting quite hype in the Fury of Dracula community, as this is a game from the League of Dracula 2025. Geo is playing as hunters, while Mistergreen, spy, okay, while Mistergreen plays as Dracula. Oh, Sir's found a horse now. Probably gonna go to Marseille. Okay, so, railing right onto there. Oh. Okay, the fact that there's a new vampire in that lair makes me think that that Mr. Green was planning to come back to that place. Very interesting. Okay. Okay, so that's the first week ended. So how shall we... So, what should happen? Who's winning? Honestly, I don't know. Without knowing what's under all these places, spaces, and not knowing where said places are... Yes, the Geo has adopted yes, Terminator. Geo adopted a hunter setup brought in by a new member of the community, R to Win. He had Van Helsing up here in London and everyone else down here in Munich to begin with. Apparently R to Win has had a reasonable amount of success with it, so Geo decided to adopt it for this game. So he now has to take a guess as to where exactly is the next location. Jonathan Harker would definitely be useful right now. Discarding a heavenly host and a stake? Whoa. Goldham's must have scary stuff if he's throwing away that sort of stuff. At a guess, that means that Goldham just drew the third horse. That's 3 stakes now that have been discarded. Okay, so he was just in Saragossa. So to wind back the clock, so to speak, on where Dracula has been, the next spot must be either Granada or he hid somewhere along the way and went to Cadiz instead. That's the only way he could be that. Or alternatively, if he went counterclockwise, the next spot, technically the next spot could be anywhere but Santander. So we have no idea where. We have very little clue as to where his next location is. Will this encounter get to mature? We'll see. I mean, if he thinks he's at Toulouse, he could try to challenge him to a 2v1, since Mia has a horse. On the other hand, he could also be at Barcelona. Okay, it wasn't a Granada, so that means that Dracula did not hide. He just went along the coastline, like so, and circled around, is now either in Toulouse, Barcelona, or he could be at Alicante. Which, given that you put a new vampire at Bordeaux like that, I'm willing to guess that he is at Alicante and was thinking of layering this spot and then going back to it. That's only a guess, but okay. Oh, aristocratic vampire. Mia became delayed. Oh dear. Now, if I were Dracula, if I am at Alicante or Barcelona, I would probably hop into the Mediterranean and then wolf form out the following day, because now you've left them with 5 locations to clear, and so they're going to have their hands full for at least a few days. And then you can start weaving around the central mazes. And it looks as if Mistergreen is of a similar mind. So the next location being Cadiz, you'll have to have Seward get a good horse roll to and he does. The question is, what is it? Is it something that Seward can clear? We'll see. So Van Helsing can now move to Santander, and that'll intercept another piece of the trail. Mia, of course, is delayed, so can't do anything. Alright, let's see what happens here. What does Cadiz have? And also, does Seward have the final stake? Because remember, we know that there are 3 stakes in the discard. So, if this is a vampire, he'll have a very difficult time dealing with it. Oh! It's a hoax, and there goes the last stake. So if there are any more vampires left in Spain, then they'll have a difficult time clearing them. At least in terms of fighting vamps. That is. Okay, a mob. So then Helsing has to take 3 damage or discard cards. Discarding a garlic? I would have just taken the damage, personally, but alright, you do you. The fact that Goldaming moved down makes going into the central maze or just hopping out of the sea up to Zurich or Milan far more appealing, because then you can go to Munich and then just head on east. But we'll see what Mistergreen does. Okay, so he took off the lair at Granada. Makes sense. Seeing as Granada is a CG nuke location, he's unlikely to go back there. many drachments are in the discard? Let's see. Total of 10 of them. Okay, yep, wolf horn ashore. Oh, single dumbing right onto him without any backup. Okay, a bats. Alright. Okay, okay. Yeah, Zurich was quite predictable, but that's because it's such a good spot. So, Dracula's goal in the upcoming combat will be to escape his bat from this combat, because then he can get his wolf form right back, and then he can say, in theory, for example, bat to Zagreb, and then wolf form to Klausenberg, or Sofia, and it basically just gets way ahead of them. Oh, giving... Okay, yeah, a trade. Doubtless giving Gul'daming some sort of combat event. Is there a heroic leap? We'll see. Okay. Alright. Oh, yep, there's heroic leap. So that's 5 more damage onto Drac. Yeah, and since Gul'daming's the tank, he's one of the 2 best to carry it out. Yep, and you called it, Terminator. Early heroic leap. Yep, sending him back into Marseille with the bats. Bodyguards. Okay. Okay. Reeling a knife. Okay. Interesting. So it is down an item. So I think, since he showed knife, we can probably safely say that the 3rd item is a Heavenly Host. We know that there's a horse, we now know there's a knife. Although, we probably should have guessed that there was going to be a knife. And, I would guess that the last one is a Heavenly Host. I don't know for sure, obviously. Spy. Did she draw another weapon other than a rifle? No. So good luck, escape route, and then along with her horse she has a garlic wreath and a holy circle. That was escape route, good luck, and I missed what the 3rd one was, but it wasn't anything super spectacular unless I'm mistaken. And then items, she has a garlic wreath and a holy circle. So Mina, I mean, while she's reasonably equipped for dealing with Trail, she is not she is definitely not battle ready. Yes, definitely weak on the weaker side, Determinier. So now the question is, which port did he leave from? Alicante or Barcelona? Whichever one it is, the hunters have time to find it. But of course, the more time they spend looking for it, the more time Dracula has to make more distance up here. So it really isn't the best situation for the hunters, and it's not ideal for either side. Okay. Is he gonna be leaving Spain and leaving it to Van Helsing and Mina to finish it up? Or, because he could go as far as Paris with that. Let's see what he does here. Yep. He's gonna be leaving Spain and going up to Paris. Okay. Okay. Okay, so it's Alicante. I guess wrong. So the circumstances, as I mentioned earlier, are not ideal for either side, yet, because while it's true that Gio had to spend quite a lot of time down in Spain, allowing Dracula to make a reasonable amount of distance, Dracula hasn't gotten any influence yet. On the other hand, thanks to that heroic leap, Dracula has lost a reasonable amount of health. So as to make a guess as to what this last thing is, I would say that this would likely be the sort of place where a desecrated soil would be placed for healing after the sea voyage. At least, that's what I might consider doing. At least consider. Okay. Okay. Any dawn actions? Nope. At least not today. While we wait for Gio to find the next piece of trail, I will tell you now that it's 4:30 Eastern time. Come on. Game froze for a bit there. Anyway, at 4:30 Eastern time today, there will be another League of Dracula match between Terminus playing as Hunters and Ghost Wheel playing as Dracula. I'll be live streaming that one as well, so that will be coming up later today. In fact, in approximately 2 hours from now. give or take a few minutes. Behind the veil. Okay. Ooh, that's interesting. Hoax, soil. Okay, reckless vamp. I missed what the last one was. But mob, mob. Okay, thanks. Those are 4 of the 5 encounters that Dracula has, or options that Dracula has for his next encounter. Oh, a night fight. Reckless vampire. Ooh. Oh, planned ambush? Okay. Okay. I don't know what sort of combat. Let's see. Let's look at the item discard for a moment, because that should give us a good idea of what Van Helsing has. It's possible that he could be holding onto a knife, but he's not having he doesn't have a crucifix, which is the combat item that is very quite effective against reckless vampires. Okay, so yeah, Mistergreen is just saying no heavenly host. You may not play a heavenly host and just vaporize me. So he does have a knife. That is good information to have. Wellenize down Van Helsing. So what now? He has only one other item card, but the thing is that he doesn't have a horse, so okay. The vampire is dead. However, Van Helsing is taking quite a battering. However, that's not too bad for the hunters, because Van Helsing is the one that tends to just stand back and let the others do the heavy work the majority of the time, while he simply provides them with their supply of events. Okay. Let's take a closer look at this discard pile. There's no garlic left, no crucifixes left, there's one. Mina has a garlic wreath. She has a holy circle, so those are out. What could that last item be? It looks like, by process of elimination, that it's most likely going to be a firearm of some sort or a heavenly host. Let's take a look at this. So he took off the Cadiz lair, or whatever. So Van Helsing may have a little bit of a tough time at getting out of Spain without getting bushwhacked by a lair. Okay, Dracula did not go to Milan. Okay, now we have a rumor token here. Oh, Strasbourg. But where did he go out to Strasbourg? We know they didn't go to Paris or Zurich, since Zurich just came from Paris. Where did he go? You know, I think it's possible that what if he went to Brussels, then Le Havre, and now he's circling back to go back down into Spain. I had to take advantage of those lairs. Especially since there's a new vampire in the Bordeaux lair. That would be a rather sneaky thing to do. Okay, there goes Mia's garlic wreath. But is that really surprising? No. So, question to chat. Where do you think Dracula went? Northern Germany, circling back around, heading east after this? Where is he? Further north, Mistergreen is heading towards home, towards Sweden. That is funny, but which way north? Northeast? Straight north or northwest? Okay, Dracula is feeding, staying in place. So he's comfortable staying in place and feeding upping for a moment to regain some health. Okay. Okay, he did not go to Cologne. So, there's still the option of Brussels, though. Is he circling? Is he at Le Havre and then about to circle down through Nantes to Bordeaux? So what's Van Helsing going to do? He has full events, but he has only 1 HP. What's he going to do? And if he has at least one dud event, I would supply... Oh, Aggie. Well, then. Will Geo search with Aggie, or will he ally her? Checking Amsterdam. Okay, so he didn't... So if he went to Brussels, he didn't go straight to Amsterdam. He could be hiding at Brussels. He could be at Le Havre. Discarding a stake. Interesting. Okay. Okay. It's interesting that he didn't end up searching Strasbourg. I mean, I guess he wants to figure out where he went next. He wants to figure out the direction of travel. But what I am wondering is, why didn't Godalming move? Why didn't he check... why didn't he horse up to Nuremberg to check that? I find that a little bit curious. So wolf form will soon be off the trail. Dracula only has to move one more time before... or it comes back off. Okay, another rumor token. So what does Glom do now? Checking Genoa. In case you went... Yeah, I suppose he could have gone Geneva, Marseille, and now Genoa. Oh, he did indeed go to Brussels. Looks as if he's circling back around to go back to Spain. So, I would not ambush if you're a Mistergreen here, because you know that the hunters are out of stakes. And Seward hasn't supplied anytime recently. At least anytime since the reshuffle. So you know that he doesn't have one. So he's gonna have to fight the thing. Actually fight the thing. Now it's possible that he is hiding, although I don't think so, because then he would have put a rumor token on the hide card, and I don't think he would do that. Yep, going to Paris. Oh, and apparently he's right there. A reckless vampire. So Mina's discarded both of her previous items. Oh, escape route. Yep, burning the escape route. But now we have a one-on-one fight between Mina and Dracula. In fact, I would have let the reckless ambush you, but escape route this fight. Oh, surprising return. That's why. Fetching Aggie to help out. Okay. Okay. Let's see what happens. Starting off with a strength into a punch. Okay. So, we know that there was a Henley host discarded earlier, so Mina might have one. Okay, what else have we got? Doing claws next. Okay, dodged. Good. Good for you, Geo. Okay, what now? Fangs into punch. Okay. At least that's more damage. But thanks to Aggie, it is not healing. Plotting into Holy Circle. Oh. Yeah. Hello, Captain Gyro. Sorry if the fact that I tend to hum along with the music annoys you. Ooh. I'll try to restrain myself, but I tend to do it unconsciously, without really thinking about it. Okay, so will Seward search Brussels? Probably not, because he now knows that Dracula is right there. Uh, and therefore, uh, will want to be in good health for the next fight, if indeed he can manage to rally them together for the next fight, make it not a one-on-one like that. Which, needless to say, would be bad for Dracula if they were able to do that. And we haven't seen any real major events yet, apart from a heroic leap, which happened earlier when Gul'daming found him at Zurich. So, as Dracula, what do you do now? Oh boy. Well, this will seriously restrict what he can do now. Okay, putting one in Strasbourg, which shows that Strasbourg has an aristocratic vampire. Brussels having a new vampire. Yes, indeed, Scott Sword. Back in time for the finale. Oh. So they haven't found the heavenly host that they discarded in the early game. So Dracula still has a reasonable amount of options here. He does still have his lair at Bordeaux, which we know has a new vampire in it from when Van Helsing stepped on it. So, this... Welcome back, Scotsword. Back in time for the finale. Although whether or not it'll be the finale yet, I'm not sure. After all, Drac still has 9 HP. He could wolf form to Bordeaux, which we know has a new vamp, and possibly lay down a fog along with it, and then it could become the game of Forewarned. We'll see. Wolf form's coming off the trail, after all. So, and since, and point of facts, once he lairs Zurich, which I assume he's going to lair Zurich, once he does that, then he can wolf form, or he'll once he does that, he'll draw the last encounter of the deck. So we know for a certainty that he has at least one fog in hand. So he has the option to lay down a fog. So, misdirecting, that would have been Le Havre. Okay, giving the hunters a little bit more options. Is he going to wolf form or not? I would, because we haven't seen either Renewed Vigor, and when it comes to Renewed Vigor, the rail connections are very good in this area, so I would wolf form. Okay, and Mistergreen seems to agree. Oh, but he dropped the Bordeaux lair, so he actually could be there now. Which, that would not be a surprise, because that's a coastal port. That's a port that's further away from Gul'daming. It's closest to Van Helsing, who, since you missed it, Scott Sword, Alicante ended up being a reckless vampire, which Van Helsing ended up searching at night. He managed to kill it due to a planned ambush, but he, as you can see, got rather knocked around. So Van Helsing is by no means battle ready. And if Dracula can get into the sea, as you can see, no pun intended, you can. He has more than one rumored vamp on the trail. Strasbourg is a aristocratic vamp, in case you're wondering. So, the fact that the hunters did not do RV seems to say that they don't have it. At least to me. Because that's definitely an occasion where I would have CG'd. I mean, RV'd. Oh, he guessed correctly. It was not. Fake wolf form. Fog? Does Seward have forewarned? No. Okay, so he'll be able to make it safely into the sea. And that means that Mia I say Mia and Van Helsing, basically the other hunters now need to turn their attention to the trail. Yeah, the grand finale is not yet on us. Okay. Yeah, getting into a big city makes sense, as he is down an item. And on a selfish to make a selfish comment, I'm not going to hide that it is. If any of you are liking what I've produced for you, please do give my channel a follow so that I can, as I am probably going to be making lots of content throughout this tournament. Which, speaking of other content, there is also later today, in approximately an hour and a half time from now, at 20:30 UTC, there will be another tournament match between that I will be live streaming between Terminus playing as the Hunters and Ghost Wheel playing as Dracula. For anyone who is interested to watch, Mistergreen is going to be co-commentating with me that day, so I'll have a co-com for that stream. Alright. Interesting. Still not healing. So Mia has nothing but a good luck left in terms of events. Yeah, the Hunters... Seward has the vast majority of their events. Well, Seward and Goldaming. Yeah. They have 9 events total. Okay, so he actually chose to mature that instead of waiting for the rumor token. I can respect that opinion. I can respect that move because, for all he knows, the Hunters dug out... Mina or Goldaming may have dug out another stake, and therefore can stake the Brussels vampire. And with so much time left on the Paris vampire, it's unlikely that will mature. So, I can definitely respect that decision. Sometimes you just gotta take what you can get. And I definitely respect the decision to feed. And nice use of the mature to get that feed back. I like it. Yeah, so this game is not over yet. And the thing is, the Hunters are running out of time. Now that Dracula's refueled back up to 11 HP, especially if he goes into England, CG is now spent, so he can now land, he could even go to Ireland, land there, and land there without fear of CG. I mean, he would still have to be worried about excellent weather, obviously, but... So I think Drac is almost certainly going to go to see this on his turn. Just makes sense. Discarding a stake when you're sitting right on a reckless vampire? What? Do you already have one? That's weird. Okay. Yeah, so Dracula would have to move by sea. Let me see. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 4 sea moves would mean that Dracula gets to land when Fear of Dracula points begin. But that, of course, would cost him quite a bit of health. So we'll have to see what Mistergreen does in regards to that. Bum 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 bum. Oh, because she already has one. Okay. Alright, so there are pros and cons for both sides of the board here. On the hunter side, they have the advantage that they have the trail cleared. On the Dracula side, he's at sea and they can't.